Hi guys, Dave here for Dave Outdoors. Thanks for tuning in. Today I'd just like to do a video on the Kiekie plant. I've done one before on the Kiekie fruit, and this one here is on the other food that the Kiekie plant produces called the Flower Bract, B-R-A-C-T, and you can see it. Hopefully it's not too far out of range there. Right there, that white and purplish coloration that you see in the middle of the plant, that's the Flower Bract. It's actually modified leaves, which is what it really is, but it's considered the best eating wild fruit, I guess you would call it, in the New Zealand bush. The best tasting wild fruit in the New Zealand bush. And I'm really happy that we've got here because it seems to be a little bit early in the season, but this area seems to get this particular spot seems to get a lot of sunshine, and with the spring rain that we've had as well, they just seem to be springing up really early, and we've gotten to them before the birds and any of the vermin have, which is quite unique. But it shows you that in your area as well, they're probably starting to spring up, so keep an eye out for them. Before I take my chance and get across that gully and try and cut a piece off and bring it back to the camera, I'd just like to quickly show you a rundown of the Kiekie plant. The Kiekie is identified by these long trunks, like this one here, this one here. These are quite narrow, you can get them quite thick. And then they end in these tufts of flax. Another one over here, quite a decent sized one over here. What they do is they travel along the ground and then they attach themselves to any free ride that's going to take them up to the canopy. Like this solid tree here, they attach themselves to that and then work their way up to the sunlight. You can get Kiekie from the coastal regions all the way up to the mountains, right throughout the North Island, and you get them as far south as Milford Sound and Marlborough. Now inside here, guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inside, contained within that flower bract, or those leaves, those modified leaves, are 5 old withered up stalks of the Kiekie fruit. And that's how the bract works. You get the stalks come out like that, and the stalks come up like that. The flower bracts form around them like that. I am being very careful with my fingers. Here we go. Okay, so here we are. Here's a few slices. So keeping in mind these are leaves, or modified leaves, so quite thick at the base. So quite a bit of meat in there really. Let's have a little taste. Yeah, it's described by people back in the 1800s as having a slight pear taste. It does. You can taste it in there. If anything, I'd say this one is maybe just slightly unripe. It's got a sort of a rubbery texture. It's got a bit of moisture in there. It's not too dry, but it just tastes as though it's, and the texture of it as though it's not quite ripe yet, but still edible. Not a strong taste like so many things I'm finding out here. You know, we're used to the store-bought fruit, and that's been interbred and hybrid, and with all all the other kinds of fruit, all mixed in together, human interference to produce really rich tasting, succulent fruit, full of sugar, really awesome to eat. And we come out here into nature, and this is just growing naturally as it did millennia ago. Still the same kind of thing. And so no human interference, so not quite as rich, not as much sugar in it, not as succulent when you eat it. And you know, that's what I'm finding with everything I eat out here, including this. But this does have the strongest taste. Very slight pear taste. Get some good carbs from it, good calories. So for survival food, yeah, definitely it's pretty good. Last piece. Yeah. They're pretty much eating the leaves of the kiekie plant. You know, the kiekie plant has become, I guess, my favorite bush plant. Well, I really like to see it when I'm out here, because at the end of the winter right through to, I guess, early summer, it's spring now, but I guess right through to the early summer, you'll be getting the fruit and you'll be getting these leaves, these bracts. So it's producing food for those seasons, and also the dried and dead and dried leaves make really good tinder, really good fire starters. They take a spark from your ferro rod and ignite readily. So yeah, it's a pretty good plant. And of course, you know, very useful to the native New Zealanders, New Zealand Māori, because of the usefulness of the flax. Made all kinds of things with these. Ingenious. So that was that's it on the kiekie plant. That's the fruit that I've covered, and this was the flower bract. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you on the next video.